Hey guys, so I've been seeing this on YouTube, so I thought I would give it a try. So this is my Draw My Life video. Enjoy. So it all started January 10th, 1996. That is when my pregnant mama went into labor. And she went to the hospital, obviously, and she gave birth to me, a beautiful baby girl. And while she was in the hospital, just chilling in her bed, she was watching a movie on the television. And as she was watching it, she actually saw the name Shakia on the credits. And she liked it so much that when they brought in my birth certificate, instead of naming me Marie, she named me Shakia Mercedes Nicole Delaney. And that is how I got my name. When I was 2 weeks old, I actually had a collapsed lung, group B strip, and RSV, so I was in the NICU, but I got well. And then my mom, as I grew older, got married, and we'll call him James. Well, James, my mom, and I were happy, but we also moved a lot. We've moved to Texas, New Mexico, Ohio, California, Colorado, just to name a few. We moved a lot. And later, I realized it was because he was getting into trouble and he didn't want to get caught. And he finally did. And they weren't taking it very well. So my mom and she decided that we should move. And I didn't want to because I didn't want to leave my friends. But we moved to New Mexico where my grandma was staying. So we got on a bus and off we went. I remember as we were driving over the mountains, just seeing all the city lights, and I was so amazed and in awe because I thought that it was just going to be all desert, but it was so pretty, and I was actually kind of excited to live here. Not too long after we got here, I remember my mom just crying coming into the apartment, and I knew something was wrong with my grandma. And my cousin was like, "Oh no, she's okay." Unfortunately, she was not. She passed away. But life goes on, and I had to go back to school. And I was called ugly and fat. I was called a nerd. I was called an Oreo. Almost anything you could think of, I was called it. I told my mom I did not want to go to school anymore. I was not having it. We tried homeschooling, but it didn't work out. So I went to a new school. Unfortunately, even though I thought it was a fresh start, it was not. I still got picked on, and I just learned how to suck it up. And I made friends with this really good girl, I'll call her Marie, and we became really good friends and inseparable. In middle school, we were still really close friends. Even though she was a little preppy and I was a little emo, we were still good friends. So while I was having fun at school, unfortunately, my mom was not getting in the best relationships. They were very verbally and mentally abusing and physically abusive. When they weren't fighting, they were sitting on the couch or they were drinking all day. And that left me really sad and confused because I wanted my mom. And even though I couldn't do anything about that situation, I decided to do something about the way it looked before I went to high school. While getting transitioned into high school, Marie and I weren't very close anymore, but we both had our own set of friends, and we had a good time, and we were still friendly with each other, I guess. And not too long after, I took a pregnancy test, and I was pregnant. And I thought my life was over, but I just gave birth to this amazing boy, and I wanted to stay home all the time with him. So I dropped out for a little bit. But I realized that was not the way to go, and I graduated. After graduating, I went on to college, and then I actually got my first apartment for me and my baby boy. I actually could not keep rent, so we became homeless. And it was a room full of people and just me and Noah sharing one little twin bed. And then after that, I found out that I was expecting again, and I had no idea what to do, but I knew that I had to do something. So we moved, and we moved to Iowa. And I had family there, so I thought it would be okay. Unfortunately, we were homeless again, but this time it was a little better. We had our own bed in our own room. It was kind of like a little apartment. And then after that, I had Kai, and everything seemed to be going good. I moved in with my boyfriend at the time, and a little efficiency. It literally had a bed, a couch, a dining table, and that was it for furniture. And that was way too much for both of us to handle, so we ended up splitting up actually. And then I learned that my son had Down syndrome. At the time, I didn't really know what this meant or what to do. So I just researched as much as I could about his condition, and I fell in love with the uplifting community there is, and I knew everything was going to be okay. And we just were so happy with our little family. And then finally, I got my own place and I got a car. And it was just me, Noah, and Kai. But Kai's dad actually wanted his son. He wanted to see him. So we ended up getting in our car and driving all the way to New Mexico. Now that we're back in New Mexico, we have our own little home and big plans that I'm so excited about. If you guys like this, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. And comment any hardships you've had that made you who you are. I would love to know. Ta-ta for now, guys. Mwah. Bye.